Welcome to Quick Report News. So, for years, we've all known Jason Momoa as Aquaman. Well, that's officially over. But here's the twist. He's not actually leaving the DC universe. Nope, he's about to play a completely different character, and honestly, it might just be the role he was truly born to play.
So the big question is, if he's not Aquaman anymore, who is he? You know, it's a pretty gutsy move to recast a star this big within the very same universe, so you just know the new role has to be something really special. Let's get into it.
And how do we know this is for real? Well, it came straight from the man himself. After an old interview clip went viral where he talked about his dream role, he just posted 2 simple words on Instagram. They called. So yeah, it is official. He got the part.
He's playing none other than Lobo. Now, if you've never heard of him before, you better get ready. He is absolutely nothing like Aquaman. Let's go ahead and meet the main man.
So who is this guy, Lobo? Well, in a nutshell, he's a cigar-chomping alien bounty hunter who flies around the galaxy on a space motorcycle. Power-wise, he's got super strength and a healing ability that's so insane, he's pretty much immortal. He's also the last of his kind, the Zarnians. But how he became the last one, well, that's where this story gets really wild.
See, he's not the last of his kind because of some big tragedy like with Superman. Nope. He's the last Zarnian because he murdered every single other one of them. Basically for fun. He just wanted to be unique. I mean, that one fact tells you everything you need to know about him.
A hero who committed genocide on his own people? It sounds totally nuts, right? But here's the crazy part. For years, fans have been screaming that this is the role Jason Momoa was born to play. And as it turns out, he couldn't agree more. This isn't just another paycheck for him. It's a real passion project. Momoa's been a huge Lobo fan for a long time. He even collected the comics. He saw himself in this character years ago and has basically just been waiting by the phone for this exact call. And the fans are right there with him. For a lot of people, his version of Aquaman kind of felt less like the comic book hero and more like, well, just Jason Momoa being Jason Momoa. But that same rebellious, tough, wild personality that didn't quite fit the King of Atlantis, it is a perfect, a dead-on match for Lobo. Like one fan said, this is what he should have been from the very start. But here's where it gets really interesting. We have to talk about Lobo's secret origin. He's not just some random tough guy from space. The entire reason he was created is actually pretty brilliant, and it's all one big joke. It's a totally fair question, right? In a universe with heroes like Superman and Wonder Woman, why on earth would you create a character who is so aggressively obnoxious and violent? What was the point? Well, the answer tells you a lot about where comics were at the time. Okay, so to really get Lobo, you have to understand one key idea: parody. It's when you imitate something, but you blow it way, way out of proportion just to be funny and make a point about the original thing. And that, right there, is Lobo's whole reason for being. Lobo was created specifically to make fun of all those grim and gritty antiheroes from the 80s and 90s. You know, characters like Marvel's The Punisher and Wolverine were super popular for being violent and serious. So Lobo's creators basically said, oh yeah? You want gritty? We'll give you gritty. They made a character who was even more violent, more ridiculous, and more over the top than any of them, just to show how silly the trend was getting. A great way to think of him is like a funhouse mirror for superheroes. He takes all those tough guy tropes, the violence, the brooding, the leather, and he stretches them to such an absurd, ridiculous extreme that it makes you stop and question the whole anti-hero idea in the first place. He's so ridiculous, he's basically making fun of himself and the entire genre at the same time. There's this really cool idea called carnival, which is like a festival where, for a little while, all the normal rules of society get flipped completely upside down. People mock authority, and nothing is taken too seriously. Well, that's what Lobo brings to the DC universe. He's the spirit of carnival. He shows up to break all the rules, make fun of the most serious heroes, and remind everyone that nothing is too sacred to be laughed at. All right, so we have this perfect actor playing this perfectly ridiculous character. The next big question is, where is he actually going to show up in the new DC movie universe? It has been confirmed that Jason Momoa will make his grand entrance as Lobo in the upcoming movie Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow. Now, putting a chaotic character like Lobo into a Supergirl movie, that might seem like a really strange choice. At least until you hear what kind of Supergirl movie this is going to be. Yeah, you can go ahead and forget everything you think you know about Supergirl. The team making this film has described it as a story about a rock and roll Supergirl. This version is imperfect, she's full of baggage, and she's got her own demons to fight. They are not making a cheerful superhero flick, they are making an antihero story. The director, Craig Gillespie, said it himself. This movie is going to explore a much darker, much more complex side of a Kryptonian hero. A story about someone who isn't a perfect symbol of hope? Well, that sounds like the absolute best place for a wild card like Lobo to show up and stir the pot. And the director, Craig Gillespie, is the perfect choice for this. He's the filmmaker behind I, Tonya and Cruella, and he really specializes in telling stories about complicated outcasts. He knows how to make a truly bizarre character feel human, which is exactly what a character like Lobo needs to work on screen.
Okay, wow, that was a lot to get through. So what's the big picture here? Let's just break it all down one more time.
So, let's recap. First, Jason Momoa is now Lobo. Second, Lobo was literally created as a parody to mock those super serious comic trends. Third, he's making his debut in a much darker anti-hero Supergirl movie. And that all means this character, who is basically a walking, talking joke, is about to enter a universe that's perfectly ready for him. And that leaves us with one final big question to think about. We've seen actors play different roles in different comic book universes before, but it's super rare to see a star as big as Momoa get recast within the same universe. Do you think it's a brilliant move to keep a great actor, or is it just going to be too confusing for the average moviegoer? What's your take? Let us know down in the comments. And that's all for today's Quick Report News. If you enjoyed this explainer, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the Quick Report News channel for more deep dives.